Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
Hello, friends. Hello, we are here. It is a special episode. For why, I haven't decided. Maybe, maybe it will be. Mostly right now, it is because it is very hot in these neck of the woods, and therefore that makes this a special time.
We're irritable.
I just wasn't personally, I wasn't expecting to get to the episodes this early in the year where I had to worry about thigh chafing.
Sure, yeah.
How do you just, fake a smile when that's a concern, you know? How do you live, laugh, love in these conditions?
It's honestly unbearable to live, laugh, love in these conditions.
It's unsustainable, frankly. And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. Welcome to Into the Twilight. We're surviving amongst all odds. Hey, it's been a minute.
Hey, man.
How are you, asterisk?
I am fine, asterisk. I'm good, asterisk. My happy thing's maybe a little non-traditional, right?
I'm so, okay.
But this is the content that has been keeping me live, laugh, love material up until.
Sure, yes.
I want to talk about the new Zelda, but I don't want to talk about playing it because I'm not. I just want to talk about that it exists, and then I'm watching people play it, and it's very fun.
Yeah, hell yeah. Listen, you're in good company. I've never played any of them. I've just watched people play them. And I think that's valid.
And I love old Zelda. I love all of so many of them.
Right.
I love so much. But these ones, I'm like, I will just watch big screen. People play. And have fun. And after so many years since the original, we get new one.
Yeah.
And everyone's just very excited about it at the same time. And it feels like everyone's just like holding hands, agreeing on something for once in our lives, in our silly little lives. And everyone's having a good time.
There was some true, there was a sizzle of excitement in the air this week.
It's like everyone was collectively holding their breath.
Yeah.
For a few days. And now it's here. We've all exhaled and we're all enjoying it. There's so many things happening. Link has a ghost arm or something. I don't really get the lore. I don't understand what's happening, but he's able to move shit with his mind powers. I don't know. It's cool.
Relatable.
It's cool stuff.
Yeah.
It looks nice. It's very sick. I'm having a very fun time, and everyone is just happy. For the next few weeks, I feel like everyone will just be at a better, elevated state of happiness.
The nerds will be sleep deprived, but joyful.
Sure.
And I love that.
Right. And honestly, that's great. I can sustain on this high for a long time.
Right.
You know? This game seems like it's going to take a long time for people to finish playing. So I can just ride this.
Right. I agree.
For a while, and just be happy.
You want to know something that really shows my age?
Sure.
I remember when Hank and Catherine played a Zelda game on YouTube.
God. That, we deserve a Veterans Day.
I've been in it for a while.
Wow. That's wild. Yeah.
Pre-Twitch, multiple parts kind of thing.
Yeah, let's play for
exactly.
Sure. Yeah, totally. Oh my God. Wow. I love that. Wow, I feel like I need to just shoot myself into the sun after.
Yeah. I mean, that was back when I was still like deep into Rooster Teeth shit, you know, like real.
Oh God, yeah.
Like
I have to censor that.
Like I'm a gamer girl. Like, So But yeah, I would definitely take a veterans discount
Yeah.
and apply it to getting like pancakes and shit.
Yeah, I think that's fair. But that's my truth. I'm just having a good time. People are having a good time. We're all coming together for Zelda. And I think that's great.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, Nintendo.
I love to see it. Yeah. Nintendo, usually bad company, does a
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of things I don't like. Horrible. But for Zelda, we can all just push aside for a second. It's okay.
Yeah.
You did a win on this one. We got a dub here. That's okay.
I will consume your content, but still say, fuck you, treat your employees better.
Right. Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's my jam. How are you doing, my friend?
I am alive. I've also noticed a lot of people who haven't been online on their Switch get online and playing,
Yeah.
which I thought was funny. It always makes me excited when there's a new game to be like, oh yeah, there's all my friends. They're playing. I struggled to figure out what to bring this week.
Sure.
And so I really had to kind of go back to like the OG
To the
shit.
archives.
Like the
Sure.
old happy things.
Sure.
And I was very grateful for companies that have all of my data. That this came up on TikTok and reminded me of one of my favorite movies. And I'm going to be honest with you all. I don't live on the side of TikTok where I watch like movies in 50 parts. That's not my truth. But I did get a clip come up and it was like, hey, are you sure? Do you want to become one of these people? And it was a clip from one of my favorite movies of all time, Steel Magnolias. And so I naturally was like, okay, well, I'm not going to watch this in like 50 parts on TikTok. I'm just going to go fucking watch this on my television. Because it has been a really long time and I love this movie a lot. Have you, notable film critic, watched Steel Magnolias?
I have seen Steel.
Okay, all right. Because I don't listen. I know it's been around for a long time, but it is.
Sure.
And sometimes I'm like, listen, it's been around forever. I'm not gonna give you spoilers because fuck you. But this one, I like to make an exception for. So, friends, if you've not seen Steel Magnolias, please do yourself a favor. Watch Steel Magnolias. It's so goddamn good. The first time that I watched it, I was an emotional wreck. Naturally. But I think rewatching it as an adult, there were so many, there's so many fucking jokes that I got now that I didn't get when I was like 10 or whatever when I watched it the first time. So, love that for me.
Sure.
I remember, and I'm so grateful for this goddamn cast. Holy shit.
This cast is wild.
It's so good. And I love this movie for so many things, cast aside, for being a true story, which I forget. So, but also for being able to portray something that's sad, but also being so fucking funny throughout. And that is something that I relate to a lot more than I did when I was younger watching this about grief.
Sure.
Of like, you can be in a really shitty situation and not know how to handle your feelings, and then one of your friends pushes Shirley MacLaine in front of you and is like, just punch her, just get your emotions out. And you are just able to like laugh even when you are in the worst heartbreaking moment of your life. And I am so grateful to have watched this movie and for it just to exist, because the cast is like, they're all so goddamn good. I also forgot, because when I was 10 I didn't have this context, but now I do, that Mr. American Horror Story Homeboy is in this. Dylan McDermott.
Oh, sure.
And I remember
Yeah.
when I first tried, and I'm going to be honest with you all, I've never watched American Horror Story. I watched the first episode of the first season, and I was like, Ryan, no.
Yeah.
But I recognized that man, and I was like, who is this man? Why do I know this man? And it's because he's in fucking Steel Magnolias. So,
Damn.
it's just it's a real pull. I love this movie. It's able to be sad and also funny and beautiful and weird. And that's my favorite kind of shit. And I love that a lot.
I love that.
And it also reminded me too,
Yeah.
and I didn't get to watch this week, but I definitely need to afterwards, that I watched around the same time when I was a kid, Fried Green Tomatoes, which I remembered after doing this, a deep dive, that was a lesbian movie that I watched when I was younger. And I was like, what the fuck? How did my parents, who are notably like not, not supportive, let me watch that movie? And it was probably because they saw Kathy Bates and they were like, hell yeah, Kathy Bates. Fuck yeah. Not realizing that it's Fried Green Tomatoes. Anyways, so I know what I'm going to be watching this weekend.
Amazing.
It's just a good time for movies.
Yeah, cinema's back. We did it.
We did it.
But also, we're going back in time. That's
Right.
how it's back.
Listen, sometimes you just gotta rewatch stuff that you watched as a kid and realize that, like, some of the jokes you didn't pick up, and they're funny,
Sure.
which is great.
Yeah.
Damn. I love this book that we are reading. But it also makes me very stressed. And I would like to say,
Yeah.
as an open note to Ferrero, that you're making me very nervous. Because when we last left off, what I remembered was that we were our friends, our little wonderful trio of Sydney Sweeney, the alchemist, and Dimitri and Rose found themselves with a cult. And it was not going well there. They were very confusion and very judgy.
Right. And everyone was, like, really confused.
Right.
About how partnerships, I guess, work.
Right. Notably
Among
myself
species.
being very confused.
Sure.
But now, especially these chapters have provided a bit more insight into, like, how that works.
Sure.
And they went to sleep. Mostly Sydney, who is full, like, needs to get 8 hours of sleep. And Dimitri's on watch. Rose tried to go to sleep, went into a dream sequence with Victor, and was like, let me just tell you all my secrets. Let me catch you up on what's going on.
Like, hey, girl.
It's been a minute. I wrote down all my hot goss for you. And then she woke up and went right back into a different dream sequence. No sleep for Rose.
God. Rochelle loves to not let her main character sleep.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah. Because no rest for the wicked, right?
Right.
So catch me up. What's going on? Chapter 11.
God.
Who else would be interrupting Rose's dreams if not Victor? Can you imagine if she woke up again and Victor was like, oh, hey, one more thing?
Right. It's like, I actually left my keys here. I forgot something.
That would honestly be very typical of him to just be like, I'm actually going to torture you by not letting you get any rest.
That'd be so real. So it's Adrian.
Obviously.
Uh-oh, surprise. And Rose's like, God damn it, I just want to go to bed, but I do miss Adrian. And this is who I thought I was going to talk to the first time.
Right.
So, or even. And he's like, hey, babe, I missed you. What's going on? She's like, hey, Abe is saying that, like, you're safe and that You know, Sydney will let us know what's going on, but like, I want to make sure that you're good, you know?
Yeah, I don't trust your dad, so are you good?
Yeah. So, like, for real, are you good? And Rose's like, yeah, whatever, I'm fine. I'm bored as shit. We're in this very remote thing, and no one's gonna find us. And I don't think they even want to, because this place is weird.
Right.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, they're questioning people. It's kind of wild out here.
You can tell how
Rose's
bored
like, yeah, dude, I
Rose
know.
is because she's getting, like, really touchy-feely with Adrian.
Yeah, there's, like, definitely... Like, Rose is definitely, like, touch-starved here. Like, even in a dream, she's just like, I need to, like, look up at you sexily. I need to, like, hug you.
She's very
Just, like, a lot
understimulated because
more-
she's like, I just need to do something right now.
Right. Yeah.
But it is very interesting that she mentions... Oh, because Adrian is like, so here's what's been going on. I've been questioned. Not that big of a deal. There's this guy, Joe. And Rose is like, oh, yeah, Joe Goldberg. And he's like, what the fuck? Have you been spying again? She's like, listen, what else do you expect me to do? I have nothing to do out here. Sue me.
Yeah. Right. It's like, I'm chill.
Right, exactly.
I'm peeping in. Is that a problem? Is that a crime?
And they talk a little bit about, like, Lissa's interrogation, and that's in heavy quotes here because last time Lissa almost, like, killed this dude with her compulsion.
Right.
And
Yeah.
they mention how there's not really much that they can do with what Joe had said because it was all under compulsion, so it was, like, under duress, right? So it's not something that could be
It's not like a-
used.
Good testimony.
Exactly.
Like a viable
Yeah.
testimony. Yeah.
Yeah. And Rose is like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that, like, one, it couldn't be used in, like, a court of law. And also, she was like, I'd started taking, like, spirit for granted that it's not just taboo, it's, like, illegal. Like,
Right. It's like fully a
right. So, whoops. Been in Lissa's head for too long. How did you feel about Rose being in the dress, TM?
Yeah. Rose is in the dress. They're getting, like, hot and heavy. A little bit
Was this
here.
the first book?
Is what?
The first book, the second, I think it was the first book that she wore this dress. So, like, really pulling this reference.
Yes, right. Of, like, how far back it goes.
Right.
Yeah, I would assume that would make sense. Yeah, it is very strange because he, like, does this, like, because obviously too, like, in all the dreams and stuff, he, like, picks the clothes. Like, he's like, Rose is like his little doll, you know.
But apparently in this one, Adrian didn't do it.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, what is the inclination there? Like, how did that?
I guess the way Rose tries to explain it, that her clothes right now are beat up.
Yeah.
But from last chapter, she's in jeans and a t-shirt. AKA Rose's plain uniform.
Right.
So, Rose, explain yourself. Just say that,
What's going
like,
on here?
you're bored and you want something to do. Except for that she counteracts herself. Because as soon as Adrian's
Right.
like, damn, like, you look good. Do you want to make out? And she's like, no.
Actually, I thought about it.
We should probably, like, get down to business and talk about what we're going to do to solve this problem.
Right. It's so funny too because like Adrian's like horny in the
Right.
in the dream space. He's like touching on the thigh, getting a little makeout sesh, like being. I don't know how it works in the dream space. Like if you have sex in the dream, you have sex. In
Right.
the life. But she's immediately like, okay, horny, got it. And then she's like, wait, we need to do business actually. Adrian's like, come on, man, we can't just have like a little dream fun. Is that a crime?
And apparently, he didn't create what she was wearing, but he did create the dream space this time. And they were in the church courtyard pre-escape. So everything was not blown up.
So it's like, all the statues are there and stuff.
Right. If it was blown up, that would be kind of fucked, to be honest. But
yeah.
And apparently this gives Rose an idea, and she's like, oh, okay. And is like, listen, Adrian, stop making out with me. We need more time. There's something that you can do for me. And it's implied in this moment that she delivers Adrian the instructions that Lyssa starts running for the next monarch. That's how I took it anyways.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not said explicitly what she tells him.
Yeah, because Rose gets woken up for her little shift
Yeah.
on the lookout.
Sydney, however, still sleeping. Fully rested.
Right. Sleep, sweet baby angel. Rose is jealous as shit. She's like, that's so unfair.
I know.
God, I just want to sleep for once. For real.
And apparently they're on vampire schedule.
Right.
And
they're still adjusted.
Right. Because now it's like 4 in the afternoon. When Dimitri and Rose start talking, which wakes Sydney up. Mm-hmm. And she's like, she says, damn, you guys in your unholy schedule. And Rose is like, oh my gosh, Sydney just cussed. Is that allowed?
Do you even swear?
Which I thought was beautiful and great.
I love the Sydney interludes. I think it'll be fun if we do end up reading the spin-off or whatever and just get a Sydney POV. I feel like that'd be so... her beautiful mind.
I know.
What's going on?
Especially because in this chapter too, they've referenced for what, like the 4th time now, what Sydney and Abe, like what their whole situation is. Right, and I just want to know, like, what the fuck happened to get her to, like, swear allegiance to him. Like, what is that? So, I'm definitely curious.
She's, like, number one girl. Yeah.
Especially because I didn't expect... I knew when we had read... Was it the last book? I was like, Sydney's great. But these moments are definitely endearing me more to her when...
Totally.
Especially when she's like, listen, I know, Rose, that you want this plan of, like, finding Lyssa's sibling, but I'm not just, like, this magical hacker that only exists to, like, solve your problems. Like, we need to go...
Right, like, I have a fully realized life.
Exactly. Like, we're in the middle of nowhere. We don't even have a cell signal. We would need to go into town somewhere to do this. So, think. Like, use your brain for a second. So, I love her.
She's so good. Notably, Rose finally gets some fucking food.
Oh. This food
For real.
made my mouth water.
Yeah, it was... Rochelle's got a great... Ferraro's got a good way of writing food. It's like how Studio Ghibli, like, makes it look really good. She's like,
yes.
She writes it in a very nice way. Because if we're keeping track here, the only thing Rose has eaten is bread and butter.
I think since the McDonald's, which would have been like 12 hours before, maybe like it had been a long time since she had food.
So we got eggs, we got bacon. Rose makes a very funny joke of being like, do you think that's real bacon or do you think it's like a squirrel or something?
She's so funny. Judgmental.
I love her.
This moment starts the heart-wrenching part of this chapter for me, which is Rochelle had no right to do this, of making me... I very intentionally kind of set my love of Dimitri and Rose, specifically together, aside. Because they got a mission. They're trying to do something. I've tried to put my feelings aside. But this chapter makes that very difficult. I would dare say impossible. Because
it's so hard. Because for Rose, like, what if we do like a one-shot of like a really kind of lovely, like, domesticated life that they could just live together outside of everything? And that makes my heart hurt.
It's so painful. Like it. And it starts with him. And these two chapters are such a dichotomy because Dimitri goes from like light and fluffy to just like ripped apart. And this is so Rochelle of like, I'm going to bait you. I'm going to get you all comfortable and relaxed. And then I'm going to rip your heart out. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But it starts with him being all laughing and joyful. Because he's like, I always love, what the fuck's wrong with you? I always love seeing what worries you. Strigoi? No. Questionable food? Yes.
Right.
Sir?
How dare you? How dare you?
How?
Do this to me.
Anyways. But mood is instantly soured because fucking Angeline comes in with a black cloud over her head and is like, what did you say? Hello? You can tell that Rochelle read... she read Twilight, saw Rosalie, and was like, bet, I'm going to make this stronger. Faster.
Right.
More bitter.
Yeah. It's just like, let's speed run this, like, radicalization of this person, like, hating everyone so bad.
And maybe not even Rosalie. Like, Lauren, I feel like... Because it's... Angeline is very she's like a very flat character. Sure. And Lauren was a very flat, like, rude character. It's gross. Anyways. How'd you feel about this moment where they're all looking at Rose's neck?
Yeah, they're... Gather round, everyone. It's time to look at Rose's sweet, sweet neck. Because there is a point here where they're talking about how many Strigoi Rose is killed, and that she's like, I don't really know anymore. At this point, it's like a lot. And we also learn that like Strigoi kind of don't fuck with these people. They're just like chilling. They're like, yeah, we don't have no beef, so we don't fight. Like if they do come in, we fight back, but like we usually don't.
You know how fucked up these people have to be for Strigoi to be like, no.
Right. It's like, actually, we're gonna circle back, actually, go back the other way. Thank you. And so they're surprised by the fact that Rose has
the superhero S on the back of her neck. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. She's got all the cool. She got all the cool markings and everything. It's all, everyone's just like peering, looking at that star or whatever that's like too many, can't even fit on the neck. It's too much, not enough neck space.
Yeah, so this is new lore. That apparently when you have like too many individual marks, that you get I think it's... this is a lot of consonants, Zvezda, where they eventually just turn the individual like tally marks into a star. And that's the way that a guardian is like, we fucking lost count. Like, you've killed a lot of Strigoi. Don't fucking mess with this person. And that hasn't come up before. No. And I'm surprised that we haven't seen anyone who has the star yet.
Right.
Like, why the fuck does Janine not have the star?
That's a great point.
Sexism is what it is.
Right. It always comes back.
Because what they don't say here is that the stars are only for the men guardians. The women get hearts, and that's fucked up. So if you make me monarch, I will make it so everyone gets a star.
Yeah.
Unless you want a heart. Then you can get a heart.
Well, honestly, whatever you want.
I feel very uncomfortable about Joshua.
Yeah, I don't like his energy.
I don't like this very perky... Now, okay. I'm going to say that, and I'm going to stick... That's my truth.
Sure.
And I'm also going to say that what Sydney says as they are going to the Raymond's truck, because they swapped trucks. They used their CRV or whatever the fuck is collateral. What Sydney says also feels valid. Of like, these are... Sydney was like, listen, you and Dimitri are the newest people in this area. You're also objectively the hottest people that they've ever seen. So it makes sense that they would be like fawning after you. So that is valid. It's very like summer camp
celeb
energy.
Right.
But I don't like that this 18-year-old is like crushing on Rose. It feels weird to me.
Stay away from her. Get a job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, go do something productive for society. Also, can we take a moment, please, and make sure that it is clear for anyone who's not reading and is just following along, that in this same conversation where Sydney is saying that they are both, like, the hottest thing to walk through there in a while, that Rose responds by saying, "You're not hot?" And it's a question. It's not like she's being rude.
There's some gay stuff
It's
happening.
so... because Sydney is like, it's irrelevant and is flustered by that comment. Mm-hmm. Hello?
Like, listen, Ferrero. Maybe the ship has sailed on Rose and Lissa. Maybe there's something, there's other things that are in different directions. But we can still make this endgame. We can still
there can still be an option here.
We still have a chance. We still have a shot here.
Right. And then they're just supposed to, like, go and sit in this truck for an hour after that? Hello? Another point for why Sydney is the best character in this book is they go to this cafe. She immediately plugs in her laptop. She looks at Dimitri and Rose and is like, can you all fuck off now? Like, I need to do stuff.
I need to do business.
And they do, which is great.
Yeah. This scene makes me so upset.
So it's like, what? It's probably like 5 or 6 in the afternoon now. And it's summer, so it's still aggressively daylight. And it's hot as fuck, right?
Right. They gotta cool off.
Yeah.
They gotta find another way out of here.
Yeah. So,
where else to go?
Where else to go than
our nation's greatest institutions?
than just this random town's library.
Having fun isn't hard.
And this is coming while they're having this conversation about living in the present, which is important to know.
Yes, it will come up later.
It will. Because Rose is having this crisis where she's like, I haven't even gotten to go and, like, live or see anything. All I've seen in the world essentially is Montana and Pennsylvania and Alaska. Okay, and Vegas for a moment, but mostly inside.
Right.
And West Virginia and a brief stint in Russia. And she's like, I want to live. Like, I want to go see things. And I'm 18. And what if this is it? Is just like living on the run. And Dimitri is like, listen, you're alive. You need to just like live in the moment and be grateful that you're not like stuck in a fucking prison. Right?
Right. And, like, don't spend your whole life thinking about, like, where you aren't or what you're missing.
Right. And then they start talking about, like, okay, well, if you could just go. Like, if you just go anywhere, where would you go? So that leads to going into this public library in this small town. And, okay, I'm going to just pretend, right, that it's like 6 p.m. or whatever the fuck. And there's no one else in this library. But
Right. The fact that the library is open this late is
seems fake, but sure.
Yeah.
Also, I was under the impression that you needed a library card to go into a library. Did they?
I don't think you need one to get in, necessarily.
Okay.
Most places you can just kind of, like, vibe in.
All right, bet.
I feel.
Okay, cool.
Unless you're, like, actively checking out a book. Then you need
Great.
a card. But most of the services, I feel like you can just be there. Which is cool. We love libraries.
We love libraries. We also love the fact that this is air conditioned and they've been, like, in this West Virginia sun and have been, like, sweating and stuff. So this is great.
Right.
I just want to know why Ferrero thought that this was appropriate to give a fan fiction within this chapter.
Yeah, Ferrero just goes off rip here and just goes into fanfic.
I didn't know that it was
which is
possible for a
fucked up.
7-foot man to sit cross-legged on a floor.
Fuck, you're so
That's so much. That's so many limbs.
so much leg.
Right.
Yeah. So much leg. So they're in this library, and Rose is shocked by the fact that Dimitri knows how to navigate a library,
Which is rude.
which is very funny to me, because she's like, how does he know the Dewey Decimal System? What's going on? And what he does is just go up to a place that says travel and looks at like one of the 10 travel books that exist. And I feel like it's not a lot of stuff going on there, right? Like I think that's pretty easy to find. And they're like, look, a lot of the books are just like West Virginia specific, whatever, and pulls out this 100 best places to visit in the whole world. So they sit down, cross-legged, on the floor of the library, and just keep passing it to each other and, like, looking at random pages and imagining their lives.
What's your fucking
And
damage? What's wrong with you?
What's wrong? You're a sicko. You're a sick freak. I'm fucking so pissed.
And it starts cute and funny with, like, the Corn Palace outside of Sioux Falls.
Right. Haha. South Dakota. What a wild place.
And Rose being like, I'm just gonna make loud laughs in this library. And naturally we get the librarian being like, shut the fuck up. It's only us 3, but, like, shut up. Respect the library space.
Right.
And it's funny because Rose is like, oh, I'm just imagining us living as fugitives in this Corn Palace for the rest of our lives. That's so funny.
Right. Ha ha ha.
And it stays cute and soft and nice for a little bit. For a couple. And then it gets to stuff like Florence, where she's like, oh yeah, like, Sydney wanted to go there. And then it ends, the last one, on, and this is where, like, it's important because in the initial conversation walking there, Rose had been thinking about Montana. She had, like, said, she was thinking in her brain and then she murmured something out loud about how, like, West Virginia has these mountains, and that's in quotes because, like, they're mostly hills, right? But, like, how she may never go back and see Montana again. And this kind of, like, nostalgia for never being able to go home again. And the last fucking page that Dimitri goes to is St. Petersburg. Are you good, Rochelle?
No. No, she's not.
And
I'm so mad.
Rose says the same thing that Dimitri said to him. And she's like, hey, bestie, hey, remember what you just said to me earlier? Just, like, enjoy where you're at. Not where you can't go. And this man, this bundle of limbs that's somehow made into a cross-legged pretzel right now, is, like, sad smiling at her. Hello?
I'm so mad. I'm so fucking mad. And she was like, oh man, I missed that. Ugh.
Like, I'm just gonna disappear. I'm just like, kill me now, because we're 30% of the way through this book. And
We have so much left.
and that scares
I'm so
me
scared.
so bad.
We can't just like live in this
No,
moment.
no, absolutely not. Because Rose has this like light bulb moment. She's like, wait a fucking second. Is that why you came? Is that why you escaped here? It's like to see the parts of the world that you still could. And he's like,
Right.
all right, Rose, shut up. You didn't need, all right, excuse you. He's like, that was part of it. But I didn't, just because I'm not Strigoi anymore doesn't mean that I was going to be like fully accepted into society anymore. So
Right. Ugh.
there was a risk. And now I am able to I want to embrace life more. How do you expect me to do, what do you want me to do with this? The same person
How am I supposed to?
who looked at her and lied and said, I love fades. And this man's a fucking poet now?
I'm so fucking angry.
I'm so
furious.
pissed that they
And
have
also,
this
too,
moment.
at the end of this, like,
And she's like, damn, okay, so like maybe we can be friends now. Friends.
lies.
I'm so mad.
I'm so mad. Also, too, an important detail here is like they started cross-legged, which jail. How dare
Rude.
you? And by the end of it, they are like laying on the floor of this library, passing the book to each other back and forth.
Yeah. And
They're laying on the ground.
there's a moment too, where the fuck? I have it highlighted. Oh, where she says, okay, so they're laying on the floor next to each other. And it's like, first of all, don't lay on a library floor. But it says, our arms and legs just barely touched.
Evil sentence. How dare you?
The tension, that librarian was like, oh, what the fuck? What is happening?
Yeah. Like, are these guys gonna get it on in here?
Over a travel book?
Online.
What the fuck? And so these
It's
friends
really steamy.
go get ice cream and then go check on Sydney. I think there was a part 2, Rose was like, let's go see if she like gave up and is like playing Minesweeper on her laptop. Which she was. Which was very good. But she had already figured out what was going on.
Right. She's like, hey, I'm allowed to play Minesweeper because I already cracked the code.
Yeah,
Okay.
I figured
got
it out
the
like
case.
5 minutes in. I just needed some alone time from you two.
Yeah, you guys are really annoying. And notably, Sydney finds a good chunk of info here about a bank account that is connected to this sort of like transfer situation. While still has like a Jane Doe type of name situation, there is a next of kin involved, and that name is someone we do know, Sonia Karp.
This
Bum, bum, bum.
was unexpected.
Yeah, that's a mic drop, you know.
I fully expected, and I think this is where I had let the TV show sway me, because I was like, no, there's no way.
Sure.
There's no way
Right.
at this point. But at the start of the next chapter, it made sense that she would be like a beneficiary on the account.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's probably like a relative of the Jane Doe. But then I'm like, what the?
Right. Yeah.
That means that there's so many
How does
other
this go?
options.
Right.
I'm
Pretty
still
nuts.
I'm still sticking with my theory, because I don't think that the book is leaning on Sonia and Mia being related. That's not book canon. That was only TV canon. So I'm still sticking with my truth that it's what's her nuts that Christian helped. The one with the ballet mom. Jill. That's that one.
Yeah.
She's so I mean, it even Jill Doe.
The ballet mom.
I remember more about the mom than I do about the girl herself.
That's so real, though.
Yeah. I want to know your feelings about the information gathering that happens at the start of this chapter with Dimitri.
Right. God. We're trying to, so like at this point we're getting like all these spreadsheets going. It's like, who the fuck? How can we get this web?
Because Sydney's figured out as much as she can, but she's like, listen, it's a waste of our time to go through every single relative. Like, that's not helpful.
It's all about there's so many people that have like a similar age or like would meet up with it. Like, it's kind of impossible because there's huge families and there's just like a bunch of cousins and aunts that like fit the bill.
Right.
Allegedly. So Sydney's like, we do not have time for this, nor do I want to do this at all. But then Dimitri's like, let me go X Games mode. I have an idea, BRB. And this fucking is wild. Because at some point, he like leaves for a sec and like you can kind of hear chattering and stuff. And then Russian. And so Rose is like, what the fuck is going on here? But then it's not just Russian. It's like evil Strigoi Dimitri Russian voice. Which scared the bejesus out of me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I didn't know that was an accent you could just turn on and off, Dimitri. That's crazy. That's a wild thing to do.
Yeah, does that mean that Strigoi him
like,
was just like turning that on the whole time?
Right, was he doing a little voice? Like, what the fuck is
I didn't know that like evil curly mustache voice was something you could just flip on.
Right, you just had it in your Rolodex in
right.
your back pocket. So that's fucked up. I hate that. I hate knowing that information. And Rose is like, uh-oh, time to relive my trauma hearing this voice all the time. That's a fun thing for me to do in this moment. And so essentially what he's doing here, which again, did not know was possible, is that he's pretending to be Strigoi.
Right.
And trying to get, like, put out a hit for Sonya. Or at least try to find some connections from the Strigoi network. Sorry?
Right. Because she's the only one that would know. Like, she wasn't just added as a beneficiary to this account for no reason, right? She's the one who knows Jane Doe, so why not go to the source, right? Yeah. And Rose was like,
how?
Listen, Mikhail's been trying to find her for over a year. Like, if he can't, then no one's going to be able to. And Dimitri's like,
right,
Rose,
bet
he didn't have the right TM connections.
Sure.
And so this sucks so bad. First of all,
I hate this. Also, just like logistically, how does that work?
Yeah, are you gonna only pretend to be
assume...
Strigoi over the phone? Because you definitely can't go and meet these people in person.
Right, like, surely that will not last very long. I guess they only need it until they need it, and like, it'll be fine. But I feel like we're playing a risky gamble here, my dude.
Well, and that's something that Rose, I think, mentions too, was that there's a part where she says that in this chapter where if any of the Strigoi had heard about Dimitri's transformation and had even believed it, they wouldn't have been able to pass that news that quickly because of the fact that they're so disorganized. So he's relying on the fact that, and trusting right now, that they don't know he's been changed. But again,
the gossip circle is very inefficient, so...
Yeah. So, I don't know how... would it just be like in the television show where they put sunglasses on and it's like, I'm Strigoi, rar.
Yeah, don't look at my eyes.
Because nothing else physically for him changed when he was a Strigoi.
Right.
Other than I think maybe he like switched out his duster for like a leather jacket instead.
Sure, yeah, a bit more menacing attire.
Right. Thankfully, though, so Sydney speaks Russian. And Rose is like,
So
what the fuck
translation
is happening? But it's mostly just like putting out this hit. The part that hurt me the most was after this call, because they're standing outside of this cafe when Dimitri is like trying to come back to himself and remembering that he's not a Strigoi anymore. And it's like, I was not prepared for this today. When I grabbed my Kindle to be reading this, I was not ready for this. There's been a lot happening here. It's been a long day for these folks. Also,
I just want them to rest.
He's having like such an emotional moment, and then he wants to like be the one behind the wheel. Does not feel like the best idea for me personally.
Yeah, I don't love that energy.
No, I don't like it. I want to get your thoughts on this, because when they get back, some Dimitri and Sydney go, because it's like dark now, they go to this like fire pit where a lot of the folks are. Right. And Rose is like, Joshua comes up and is like, hey, did you still want to go see my cave? And she's like, I honestly
cool spot.
forgot that you existed.
I did not think you were a human.
Right.
Actually, my bad. I'm so sorry. I thought you were an NPC in my life, and this was like a side quest. Yikes. But sure. Let's see that sick cave. And also we noticed too that Dimitri is kind of looking with a disapproving little look.
He is. Because he had said earlier before they left, he was like, you need to stop. Like, stop giving him hope. Like, don't do this. And she was like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm just being nice. Like,
right. It's like, I'm dating Adrian, obviously.
Right.
So, like,
right.
I would never.
I don't know if it is, and it might be, that I am jaded from being an adult. And because I thought I knew Ferrero's pattern. I thought something very bad was going to happen in this cave.
Yeah. Yeah, I was getting a little nervous.
Because of the fact that it was mentioned, like, in plain language, Rose said cult earlier in the last chapter.
Right, and it's like a very remote cave, far away from all the other caves.
Right, like
this feels like a place for danger to happen.
On the other side of a mountain, away from the settlement, it, like on the outskirts. I fully thought Homeboy was going to go from being apologetic to like flipping a switch.
Yeah.
And that does not happen. He is just very naive and is like, hey, so I met you literally yesterday. Let's get married. And she's like, sorry, did I think I misheard you. What?
Yeah, sorry. Can you repeat the question? Did I just black out?
Right. But I was, and I don't know if the spidey sense I got was because Ferrero initially wrote it that way, and her editors were like, no, take it down. Take it down a notch. Or if it's because that was just the feeling and vibe that I got from this cult. But I fully expected her to be like, no, and him to be like, cool, well, I'll just kill you now. Like, I didn't know where this was going.
Yeah, I was like hyperventilating.
I was so
Potential
scared.
danger.
But it's,
Because also, she does it in, I mean, I guess she's trying to be safe here, but, like, I would expect from Rose to be, like, immediately, like, laugh about it, or be like, what are you talking about? You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, that kind of stuff. But I guess there's more of a self-preservation thing going on here, where she's just, like, trying to, like, come up with excuses, right? Of being like, I'm too young to get married, or I don't even know if I want to get married.
Right.
And Josh was like, hey, that's actually pretty smart. We could live together first, see how we feel. And it's like, what is going on?
well, and like this goes against everything that Rose knows of, like, they're losing daylight. She's in a place that she doesn't know with someone she doesn't know. And she's being pushed against with this proposal. And it's like, girl, get out of there. Like,
Yeah, leave, run, go. I hate everything.
I don't
about this.
like
This
this.
sucks.
Yeah. But Joshua, who, again, from what we can tell right now, is not a bad person, is just incredibly naive. Is like, okay, so maybe not marriage, but I made you this bracelet so you can remember me by. Very, like, summer camp, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of, like, so you'll write me, right? And she's like, yeah, totally.
Totally, for sure.
For sure.
This is definitely my number. It's totally real.
So, thankfully, nothing bad happens there. So they're able to make it back to the full group at the fire. And my anxiety started to
Alive,
reduce.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, good. Rose is not going to die in a very non-Rose way, right? Not going out in battle, but with this random-ass dude in a cave.
Right, as one does.
Right. And then Rose is like, cool, so thanks for the bracelet, Joshua. I'm gonna go talk to Sydney now. He's like, yeah, totes.
I gotta go see my girl.
Right. And then she
You
gets
don't do any
fucking
weird
socked in the
things.
face.
Yeah, just
Out of nowhere.
Fucking nowhere.
It's not Joshua.
Angeline is
like, just someone out of nowhere comes up and socks her in the face.
Yeah, it's like, hello? What's going on? And it's fucking Angeline.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, bitch, I hate you.
Literally.
It's like, whoa. Okay. Fuck, dude. That seems like pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
And she's like,
Boss fight
just
in the
like
middle of the
fist
fire.
clenched. Yeah, being like, let's fucking go. Let's see how tough you really are. And Rose is like, what happened? What is going on today? You guys are really weird. I'm really confused by what's happening.
It's just been a long day. She just wants to sit by the fire and listen to people sing songs. And now
Yeah.
they gotta fight.
Right. And Dimitri, bless his heart, like, fucking runs and books it and being like, what's going on?
Notably, though, he stands up.
Right.
But a group of this community move him to the side and they say something to him that Rose can't hear.
Mm-hmm.
They don't try to restrain him. They just said something to him. And he doesn't come near her.
These people are so scary.
And she's like, what the fuck? Like, why would he never come to my side? That doesn't happen.
Yeah. Something's up.
Right. And
so
she's
Rose
like,
is
I don't want to fight
what the
you.
fuck is
Stop.
going on?
Like,
Yeah. Like, I don't want to hurt you. Like, this is weird. I'm just, like, vibing
right.
here. You know, trying to not get betrothed. But, you know, like, I'm just like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
And they're like doing that dance, right? Where Angeline keeps trying to come at her and fight. And Rose is like, I don't want to do this. So they're just like circling each other.
Right, because Angeline is still like, those marks, there's no way they're real. Like, prove it. Fight me.
Yeah.
Coward.
Gross.
Rose, like, can I just, like, eat some bread and butter? I don't like, what the fuck?
And she's
is
very
going on? And also, like, why is
confused.
Dimitri just, like, letting this happen?
Yeah, she's very confused, like, why Dimitri is letting this go on. And out of the corner of her eye, she sees him, and he's smiling. And she's very confused by all of this.
Yeah.
But Angeline's getting frustrated and can tell that, like, something is about to happen here.
Right. And it's like shit talking the royals too.
Right.
And like they're all selfish. And
She starts coming towards Lissa.
funny 'cause-
yep.
Right. Which is, yeah, I guess the Lissa thing makes sense because I feel like from their perspective, like they're talking to someone they believe may or may not have killed the queen. I feel like shit talking the royals isn't really gonna like do anything to like agitate Rose,
Yeah.
under that idea, but whatever.
Yeah, because you'd think, like, if it wasn't... Rose is definitely doing the, like, not all royals thing. Because for the most part, she's like, fuck them. Like, I don't give a shit.
Right.
Except that Lissa and technically Christian and technically Adrian are all part of royal families. So she's like...
Yeah, all of her friends.
Right, exactly. So she's like, except for those families, and even some of them within them, fuck them.
Right.
I would agree with you, except for that, like, all of my friends are technically royal. So...
Yeah. Well.
Unfortunately, Angeline sticks her leg out enough to, like, hit Rose's knee, and then everything, like, explodes from there.
Yeah.
Because once you actually do start hitting Rose, like, you sucker punch her once, she'll sometimes let that go. But if you
Shame on you.
but if you keep going, then her instincts are going to take over, and she is going to fight you.
Do a hit, you know.
Right.
a solid hit, a second hit. It's over.
Right.
We're going to Fight Town.
And it does get pretty dirty. Angeline's the kind of, like, scrappy
actually
fighter that,
pretty
like,
good at
pulls hair, which is just rude.
Yeah, like they're getting pretty wild out here.
Yeah.
Girls gone wild and fights are happening right now.
Yeah. Naturally, though, of course, Rose, like, finally pins her down. Mm-hmm. Because it's Rose.
Right.
The ending of this was confusion to me.
I hate this.
I don't like it.
A lot. Right. Like, Rose, you know, pins her down, and Angeline's trying to, like, have a few breakaway attempts or whatever, and then just realize that she's not gonna get up or win this fight. And so she's like, her surrender sentence, I suppose, is her going, fine, I guess it's okay, go ahead. And Rose is like, what the fuck are you talking about? I was just trying to walk through this like fire. Like, what is happening? And Angeline's like, it's okay if you marry my brother.
Ugh.
Hello?
Gross.
911? Emergency. Get me out of here. I hate this so much.
But honestly, these two would be fucking related.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, come on now.
Gross.
Oh, God. I hate these people so... not to be siding with Rose's judgmental shit here and calling them hicks or whatever, but I hate them. They give me the ick so bad.
They do. They do give me the ick.
I want to get out of here.
Even if they weren't in a cult, if these were just regular people, they would still give me the ick.
Yeah.
And I don't... No. I don't like... Because here's the thing. Joshua gives me very strong Mike energy, and you know...
Right.
You know how this is a no Mike Newton zone. And
anti. Extremely anti.
No mics allowed.
Yeah.
And Angeline is very strong Lauren energy, and no. Absolutely not. Not in this home. Not in this space. So hopefully next week, with chapters 13 and 14, they get the fuck out of this place.
God, I hope. I can't do this any longer.
I just...
so nervous.
I hope that they pick, like, a little knapsack full of the bread and butter, and they just get on the road. Let's go somewhere else. I'm out.
Anywhere. Literally anywhere. I'm so scared.
I don't want to do... Call Abe. I'm scared. I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah. Dad, please come.
For real. Can we just do, like, a fancy hotel? Can we have shenanigans there? Because this is scary. I don't want this anymore. We have some amazing patrons that we would love to thank. Would you like to start us off?
Absolutely. Hold on, my tab has escaped me. Where did you go? Okay, there we are.
It's already on the road.
Thank you. Yeah, it's going beep beep out of here. Thank you to Kylie Minty.
Ooh, thank you to Alex Dornan.
Pew pew. Thank you to Mulch. Gray.
Mulch. Thank you to Jasmine Anastasia.
Ow ow. Thank you to Megan Pattinson.
Ooh, thank you to Cassandra O'Shea.
O'Shea. Thank you to Katya Carp.
Ooh, thank you to Hope Castile.
Ow. Thank you to Rachel Ashford.
Ooh, thank you to Maddie Facinelli.
Pew pew pew. Thank you to Genevieve Morgan.
Ooh, thank you to Danielle Burke.
Ow. Thank you to my mom.
Oh,
Your mom. All of our moms. Kelly Beck.
Mom. Thank you to Sophia Salinger.
Ow ow. Thank you to Laura Forty.
Ooh, thank you to Dan Zeklos.
Pew pew pew. Thank you to Emily Ozera.
Ooh, thank you to Jaylene Ivashkov.
Pew pew pew. And last but certainly not least, thank you to Ashlyn Vogue.
Hell yeah. I have a fan fiction for you. It is by the author Procrastination Hobby.
Okay.
It is titled Crashing a Wedding and Stealing a Bride.
Hell yeah.
And the summary is, listen, Bella was fully intending on marrying Edward until she met his cousin.
Oh.
And this is from chapter 1. I'm only going to say this once when he's not here, Rosalie said, lowering her voice. Her face was soft, her usual icy exterior having melted away. You don't have to go through with it if you don't want to. What do you mean? Bella asked. If you get cold feet, Rosalie said, I know Alice and Esme are making a big fuss, but I promise we'd all understand if you want to wait. Rosalie, come on. We all just want you to be happy, Rosalie said. Bella shook her head. Sure, Edward and her were struggling a bit, but she still cared about him. We're fine, but thank you for reassuring me. Rosalie didn't seem too convinced, but also didn't argue, which Bella counted as a win. The Cullens' doorbell rang, causing both Rosalie and Bella to glance over in that direction. Rosalie frowned slightly. Oh, they're here slightly earlier than expected. Bella stood up, brushing off the crumbs from her shirt. Great, she had planned to at least look semi-decent when the Denali's appeared. Rosalie made her way to the front door as Bella tried and somewhat failed to fix her hair in the reflection of the TV. Tanya, Bella heard Rosalie said, obvious excitement in her voice. It's so good to see you. Rosalie. Bella's heart sped up at the sound of that voice. It was as smooth as maple syrup and made Bella feel as warm as a hot bubble bath. It's so good to see all of you, Rosalie said, closing the front door. Bella could hear them approaching, standing up straight. This is Edward's fiancée, Bella. As they came into view, Bella knew she had made a horrible error. For the past 2 years, Bella had sworn up and down, left and right, that Edward Cullen was the love of her life. And despite their recent issues and troubles, Bella had still believed that until this very moment. End scene.
Damn. Oh my gosh.
So if you are interested in learning more about Bella and Tanya together, there is a 7-chapter fan fiction made just for you to read all the more.
Amazing.
Please enjoy that.
Hell yeah.
Well, friends, please send all of your invoices to Frero for emotional damage.
Yeah, therapy's gonna be really fun for all of us this week.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to telling my therapist on Monday, hey, here's what's going on this week. These fictional characters ruined my life. So
Yeah.
that's what's going on.
Just really cool stuff. Yeah.
Take care of yourselves. Tell your friends about new video games and old
Sure,
movies, and also this podcast.
Yes.
Also, because I saw it on Spotify. Remember that there is a Q&A feature, and you can engage that way. So remember that.
Ooh.
I saw someone do it on one of our podcasts. So remember that you can do that. Just a fun,
so fun
little feature there.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's do that.
yeah.
That's cool.
and until next week, as we say here in the Pacific Northwest.
Get big.
Ooh.
Into the Twilight is an Earbud Media production. You can follow us on Twitter at Into the Twilight or on TikTok at Into the Twilight Show. You can find me at Cody Corral on Twitter and Allie at Alexandria Does. And you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/Into the Twilight. We have merch, so much stuff. All those links are in the episode description. And make sure to rate and review us on your favorite podcast hosting platform. It really helps the show. Thanks. Bye.
You've been listening to Earbud Media Production. Earbud Media, audio for everyone.